So we don't usually see a lot of, for lack of a better term, the female midlife crisis play out on television. What's it like getting to sort of dive into that with Grace? If you would call it that, Grace.
Yeah, the first thing is I wouldn't call it a midlife crisis because I think that implies, oh, I'm getting older. I'm afraid to get older, and I want to hang on to what I had when I was younger. And I think it's more of an awakening. It's that stage where, especially women, I feel, can be, you're devoted, your mother, your wife, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, who am I? And so that's where she's at, and it's amazing to get the chance to play that and see the catalyst for her to get this freedom back. I mean, it's been done in so many movies, but not on TV. You don't see, just getting closer to who she is.
Is this catalyst that's kind of having Grace move out of, is she moving past that wife and mother role where she's kind of in the home? In the pilot you see her returning to work, so is that what's the catalyst for becoming who she is other than wife and mother?
Yes, definitely. And it's she's getting a new job, and she was an artist. She had a scholarship to study in Florence. She passed on it because she was pregnant, and happily so. It's not like, ooh, I made a big sacrifice, but it's almost when all of a sudden you get a little taste of something, and you're like, this is this feeling I've been missing. And so work is a great chance for her to have something of her own and feel alive, amongst other things. There's also an awakening sexually, I think, and I think that's what sort of starts it all. And it's not like she looked for it, but she happens to meet this male escort, and I think that was the trigger to then, I want to live. There's a great scene in the pilot in relation to a book club, and she's like, I want to why don't we make our own stories and not just read people's stories? So she's taking an active role in her life.
Is she at all kind of suspecting anything is different about Neil after the pilot?
Yeah, I think there's definitely these moments, especially when you deal with infidelity. Even though she's very good at separating and not really feeling guilty, but there's always these moments where you look at the other person and you're like, does he know? Does everybody know? And so he'll say things, and there's this curiosity of, wow, did he come about this on his own? But never asking. They sort of, and that's what's beautiful, is they each take a step forward and the other one takes a step backward, and then so they keep missing each other.
Yes. How does playing this type of character in a very complex marriage with a lot of secrecy and issues, does it affect other relationships in your life? Do you appreciate them more, or do you see things differently from playing a character like this?
It's great. It's such a it's so weird, because just this morning we got the new episode yesterday, and even in the makeup trailer we're all talking about it, and my husband reads the thing and we talk about it. So if the show can even have those, can trigger conversations amongst people, that would be great. But it definitely, we were talking with the makeup artist, and she was like, look at us, we're just totally talking about this, and why do you do this, and why does he do this? And so yeah.
It's like counseling.
A little bit, yeah. There was an article in Marie Claire, actually, that I got my hair done, and there was this, I sent it to you, when you said it's like counseling, because they said that people who watch movies about relationships, did you read that?
Oh, yeah, I read that too.
Yeah, that it helps their marriage, and they compared it to counseling. It's in June of Marie Claire. I was like, oh, how appropriate.
Is it a challenge where the central focus of the show is, infidelity and sex, and is it kind of hard to, or is it a challenge for you as an actor to make characters likable when, within minutes of meeting your character Grace, you find out that she's having an affair cheating on her husband.
I think that's the death of an actor when you try to be likable. Even though that has crossed my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope they're not going to be perceived as a bad. But you can't think like that. You really have to understand your character, and she's not thinking, am I likable? She's just going through her journey, and she has a lot of pain, and the show doesn't judge anybody either. It's not like, oh, this is the secret to a happy relationship, have infidelity or don't. So anyway, what's challenging is just to find all those colors, but I hope she's still likable.
Lindsay, did you have a question?
Yeah, so with the whole, counseling, like if as a couple watching, like what would you hope that they would gather from what you did wrong, and like where did you get to the point with your character where it was cheating was the option? I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
I think something that people could watch this and be like, do we tell each other? They protected this. Neil and Grace try to protect each other, and by being so nice, and then by not really opening up. When you have these moments and you're like, I'm not really happy. Do you tell your partner that? Because you're afraid that's going to hurt them. But if you do tell them, then you can actually be really honest, and then your partner can be honest, and then you can say, oh, you know what, this is what we need. But we're also afraid to be honest, I think. And we just want to say, no, everything's great. But that can make you grow apart. So I think that's something people can look at and be like, hey, do you think we're doing that?
What impact is this, do you think, having on your daughter, your character's behavior and actions?
It's fascinating. I think she's going through, Grace and Annika are sort of going through a parallel awakening, and I think there are a lot of the things they go through, they go together. I don't think, Annika is a 16-year-old, and I don't think you look at your parents and think, oh, this is bad. You're not aware, you're just in it. But she's searching for this honesty. It's a big theme for her. Do you lie to protect others? Do you lie not to hurt people? In school, do I lie, or am I honest and stand up for what I believe? So her parents are going through that, and she's going through it in her own world. And I think
we see that in the pilot too, just the way she's being honest in a weird, stagey way on stage.
Oh yeah, exactly. And her dad, says you did the right thing.
For as much as we're talking about how like the secrecy is a bad thing, do you think your characters benefited at all or learned anything from the secrets that she has been keeping from her family?
Yeah, I think it's allowing her to it's allowing her quiet. And when you are able to take the noise away, that's when you get closer to who you are. So I think it's wonderful that Neil didn't confront her about it, because then it would have just added a lot more noise. She's, for the first time, being able to be centered and closer to her true self. And I'm sure it's not sustainable, this secret, but in the short run, it's helpful.
So from what we've seen in the pilot, it seems like she did just have one escort that she kept going back to. It seems like he will be unavailable. Can you tease whether she'll be going to anyone else to kind of get her needs met, or whether she'll kind of stick to the one escort?
I don't think it's about sex. So I don't think if he was unavailable, I don't think she would want to just go and have sex with somebody. That's not what it's about. It happened, and maybe he awakened something, and now he's giving her the courage to start working, and that's a new outlet, a healthier one.
Why should people watch the show?
Because it's real life. I mean, that's why I would want to watch it. I love, my favorite movie is The Way We Were, and it's two people who love each other and keep missing each other, and life is complicated, and it's also optimistic. You see these two people, they're in love. It's not about a crumbling marriage. It's not depressing. There's humor. It's not, you know, lines that are written to be funny, but it's just the humor of everyday life where you recognize, you see somebody lie and you're like, oh shit, I would do that too. And so it's, I love to watch, you know, things like that.
You've been in a lot of movies. What's it like now being a regular on a TV show?
It's great. The surprise of getting a new show, a new episode, and discovering new things about your character is fun, and also, so your character keeps growing. In a movie, you have the one script, and you do your research, and then you're in it, but you have a beginning and an end. This, you get new information, and something new just comes into you because of this new information. And it's great also just every day to work with, you know, fellow actors, and we've been here not that long actually, not much longer than in a movie, but I love it. It's really fun.
What are your hopes for your character as the season progresses?
I don't know. Let me think about it. That she can connect with Neil. Truly.
Other questions? I was wondering, how have you liked shooting in Atlanta, and what it's been like being here and experiencing
It's good.
the heat?
It's just starting to be hot now. My family's driving down. My kids are out of school, so they're driving down. So I'm excited for that. And it's great. There's great restaurants here, and Michelle, who plays Annika, and I live right next to each other, and we've spent a lot of time together and driving together, and it's great. It's been a lot of fun.
She was talking about that when she was in here. About
That
just,
we don't
like,
get
all
along.
All of the like deep conversations and how helpful you've been, like in terms of even building that mother-daughter relationship. Has that been fun for you,
Oh,
especially with your
yeah.
kids not here? Like you must miss them. And
Yeah. I Skyped with my parents, and I was like, I just love her. I love her. And her parents are here.